the second half of the forum. Little different structure for this. Each primary response will have 60 seconds, 1 minute. And then follow-up responses will be just a half a minute. And it looks like we had many questions. I want to thank everyone who submitted a question, but we've kind of taken these down to 5 questions, which we hope we can get through in the time allotted. I believe we left off with Jim, so that David would be the one to answer first on this. And the question is, if elected, would you support the creation of a completely independent redistricting commission with a complete authority to draw Yolo County supervisor districts in 2021?
Cool. I think this is one of those questions where I can say I don't have the answer to that. We need to figure it out together, and we need to, I think assembling task forces of people that are experts is the way to go. So I'm not here to say I have all the answers, especially for this question, but I know that if we work together, if we figure out, if we dig underneath for the right questions of you know, what are we trying to accomplish, and find the experts and get them all together, then I think we can do that. So that's my answer for that one.
Thank you. Linda?
How many stories have we heard about gerrymandering with regard to our national politics, and a certain party coming in and setting up districts, only one political party gets elected over and over again. Here we are nonpartisan. We don't run as a Democrat or Republican or anything. We run as just that, ourselves. But I think it's very important that we have a truly independent commission that's looking at redistricting here in the county, how we are going to draw those lines. We look at population, we want it to be balanced, but I think the independence is essential for people to have confidence in how those lines were drawn. And by independent, I mean they come up, this commission is established, we covered those parameters ours, we said it could be a community discussion, but that is what it will be. It won't be, okay, we're going to draw it up, and then the Board of Supervisors say, no, I want something else. We stick with the independence of it. Thank you.
Well, I originally brought the idea of an independent commission to the board and asked that we establish one. We did establish an independent commission. They will be doing the redistricting next time. The only question is, should they make the final decision or should the board? I'm actually in favor of having the independent commission make the final decision. I probably didn't feel that way in the past, but after I saw the good work that the state did with their independent commission, I think if it's formulated properly and we take care to make sure that all parties are represented and that citizen groups are heard from, it can work very well. I remember when they were doing our assembly district, they had us divided into little pieces. And we went to Sacramento and testified, and they listened to us and established an assembly district that made sense, and it included most of Yolo County. And I think the same thing could happen here, supervisor districts based on the standards, rather than a political decision. So I would favor that.
Thank you. Follow-up responses? Any additional comments regarding this question?
I just want to say I'm glad that Jim's on board now. So,
I was on board before too. I didn't have 2 other votes.
Okay, we're going to move to another question about a little non-traditionalism. This question is, and I believe we start with Linda, do you support holding periodic meetings of the Board of Supervisors in Davis or in any other location outside of Woodland?
Yes, I do. I think it's very important to have access, to have people to be able to attend the meetings. Right now they're meeting Tuesday mornings, beginning at 9 a.m. and going forward, and that's the vast majority of folks are working during that time and can't attend those meetings. I was looking at, do we hold an evening meeting? That would be possible. Do some evenings so that people can be involved that way. Moving it around the county perhaps potentially could be something. We just have to have enough room for this to happen. I also am cognizant of the fact that we're asking our county workers and staff to help us in doing this. But number one is access and transparency. And if there's a theme I'm hearing amongst voters as I'm walking about, is that lack of transparency and actually knowing what the heck are people doing and what the heck are our supervisors doing?
Jim?
Well, I have pushed for transparency the whole time I've been on the board. One of the things I advanced was a proposal. There's a legal requirement within 150 feet, or I may have that wrong, but with a limited distance from a house where there's a project, and that's who you have to notify. I proposed, and the board accepted, notifying anybody who might care about it, anybody who might have an interest in it, expanding the notification. And I've even rewritten some notifications that have gone out so that it's clear what's being proposed. I did at our board workshop make the suggestion of occasionally having an evening meeting or a meeting, in another place, and was not able to get support for that yet, but I think that's something that's possible in the future.
Thank you. And David, again, meetings outside of Woodland.
Yeah, I echo a lot of the statements that Linda and Jim made as well. Regarding the time of day and the place and just general accessibility of the meetings, I'm part of a group it's a grassroots group not connected with my campaign that's drafting a climate emergency declaration and mobilization for Yolo County. And there's a lot of people that wanted to go speak at public comment at the Board of Supervisors meetings, but they're working during that time. So I think we might, besides also revisiting, I think we should look into rotating locations, but also look into changing the time of the meeting where it's more publicly accessible. And if you look at our local Green New Deal platform, we really want to have open government and open records. We want to make it a participatory thing, and we want to make sure that the people are heard within the government. And I think we should look at reforming the meeting process for sure.
Thank you. Any follow-up responses to this question? Okay, I'll move on to the next question. The questioner asks, our county board of supervisors is 100% male. We also have a number of male positions in county leadership. How shall we represent the female constituency, and do you have ideas about ensuring that that's represented in the county as well? Oh, sorry. First question then goes to,
I think.
Would you read that again, please?
Sure. Our county board of supervisors is 100% male. We also have a number of male senior officials within the county. How do you ensure that female representation is served in the county as well?
Well, I for one, have championed, as I mentioned in my opening, issues for women throughout my career, and I continue to do that on the Board of Supervisors. Now, our Director of Health and Human Services is female, and probably the vast majority of our services are through Health and Human Services and are also for women and children. I think we also need to promote diversity in hiring, and several board members have raised that issue and continue to raise that issue, and I think going forward we will see even greater diversity. But we have a fairly diverse workforce, and we have people that are very much dedicated to serving the entire population. I have been throughout my entire career.
Thank you. David, same question.
Yeah, I think women's issues need to be at the forefront, and our government has been dominated by usually white men for so long since its inception, and I really think we need, as a government, our role should be giving more voice to women and more voice to all the groups that have not been traditionally represented. So I really think we need a rebalancing when it comes to what issues are present, and I think that has to do with gender, and it has to do with race, it has to do with economic status, and we really need to start rebalancing this effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, same question.
Well, that one's somewhat of an easy answer for me, is elect me. And gosh, we're going to immediately have a woman's voice on the Board of Supervisors, because right now it's true, it's 5 men. Our county council is a man, our district attorney is a man. Gosh, where am I being? Our county council, district attorney, our chief administrative officer is a man. And thank you, and thank all the men who do work for us and put forward things. But I've yet to find one who can truly talk for me. Who can truly talk for me as a woman, who can truly talk for me as a lesbian, can truly talk for me at all. I guess I'm not saying I'm better, or women are better, or men are better. It's just a different way of looking at the world, and we bring different ideas to the table and different perspectives to the table. And that's huge. I can't speak for a person of color. I am not that. I am privileged. I am white. But what I can do is understand a lot of what folks have gone through because of the discrimination I have personally faced. Thank you.
Thank you. Any follow-up responses or comments? Yes,
Well,
Jim?
I will point out that several of the women that I've worked with have endorsed me. Mariko Yamada, who was the supervisor in this seat, and then I worked with in the assembly on women's issues and domestic violence and other issues we care about. Helen Thompson, Delane Easton, Heidi Callison, who worked with me years ago at the legislature. I didn't even remember this. She said I was the only male that you could go to with a domestic violence issue and get a bill introduced at the time we worked together in the legislature. Now, things have changed since then, but I think I do a pretty good job. And I also have kids, and I think to have an understanding of kids, it really helps to have children and grandchildren.
Thank you. Any additional follow-up?
Yeah, I too am very grateful for the people who have endorsed me, the female leaders of our community that have come forward, as well as many of the new leaders of our community. The head, Rachel Beck, for example, head of Indivisible Yellow, Sister District, Kelly Wilkerson, and quite honored to have the endorsement of Betsy Marchand, the very first female elected to office here, the very first woman elected in Yolo County. And thank you, and others who have also endorsed me.
Thank you. Any additional response follow-up? Jim?
Well, I would just like to say that I think experience counts. Who you are counts, the person you are counts, and I'm dedicated to working on these issues, and I will continue to work on these issues. And in the future, I expect to be supporting a woman candidate for the Board of Supervisors, maybe very soon.
Thank you. Any additional follow-up? All right, and I'll move to our next audience question, and this relates to childcare. Childcare accessibility, affordability, and quality is challenging for families of all income levels. What can be done at the county level to improve services for all families needing childcare? And adding to this question would be, what, if any, plans do you have regarding the Yolo Crisis Nursery and supporting it? And I believe I can now start with David. Thank you.
Yeah, childcare it's a huge issue, and it affects almost every family has to deal with how they're going to pay for childcare while they go work. And CalWorks supported about almost 39,000 children and families in 2018, 2019. But there's so many more people that they don't have that privilege, and I think we really need to expand funding for affordable childcare, focusing primarily on economically vulnerable populations, low-income families, and I think we need to ask the mothers what their needs are and design solutions around those needs. You know, I think that's where we should be designing the solutions for these things, not saying, I'm David and I know what's best for mothers. We need to ask the mothers directly and survey them and enter into a process to get their needs met.
Thank you. Linda, same question.
Well, again, I'm out talking to voters along with housing, childcare. It's childcare. I'm coming across folks who, you know, if a parent is at home because they can't afford to have both working because if one continues to work, all that money is going towards childcare. So we have childcare facilities in the county. It's here, but do we have enough? It doesn't look that way because I don't know how many more surveys we need to do, and I appreciate that because it's obvious that we don't have enough. And so I want to look at what's happening, and for example, West Sacramento and the partnerships that they've created to increase more child care. What can the county itself do? We've got 4,000 county employees. Perhaps the county could do some type of a voucher program to help the young families looking and use that money towards child care. I just want to continue strengthening our public-private partnerships with regard to that as well. So we do have to address this. This is the number one concern as far as I'm concerned, for the whole county, along with climate change. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, same question.
The situation now is such that we are doing a lot to advance childcare. Through Yolo First 5, for example, we are funding both improvements in the quality and quantity of childcare. And that's money that comes from tobacco spending, and we recently proposed, and I brought a motion that county money should go in that direction from the county cannabis money. Some is going, but I would like a lot more to go. But the real solution, because of the expense, is state funding. And what we need to do is advocate at the state level for more state funding. Now, I know the governor put some in his budget, and I'm on a task force with the County Office of Schools and a number of other child care and preschool advocates. And we are looking to get every penny we can of the money that's currently available. But I can tell you now it's not enough, and we're going to have to continue to be active in Sacramento as advocates.
Thank you. Follow-up responses to the question? Yes, David?
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up, I think, again, the issues that we're facing locally are reflections of a larger issue, and that is this culture of separation. And I think we could look at creative ways where we can have cooperative models of childcare where parents can take certain time. You know, if you look at other societies, you have a couple chaperone adults, and then they have like 30 kids of all ages that are able to play and to do their thing. And I think if we organize some kind of structure where parents can be empowered to make their own choices regarding childcare and think creatively, then I think we'll be in a good place.
Thank you. Any additional follow-up responses to this question? Okay, well, first off, I want to thank the audience again for the questions that they provided. I do want to apologize to folks who did not get their questions asked, but I think I understand that Civ Energy will be providing a forum for people to submit questions if they would like to. What we're going to move to now, in the interest of time, is to give you all the opportunity to provide your closing statements. I believe we started the opening statement with Linda, so we're going to start the closing statements then with Jim, and then we'll go through the other candidates.
And how much time is that?
I'm sorry, 1 minute for a closing statement from each of you. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to, again, thank the League of Women Voters for sponsoring the forum and everyone who attended today. I think Davis is a community that believes in democracy. People are engaged in the issues. And what I find is that the things I'm working on are the things that people want me to be working on. They want, you want a better life for our children. You want education in the community to be superb, second to none. You want our youngest children to be served. And you want us to make sure that any vulnerable person who has a problem is served. And that's what I endeavor to do every day, whether it's through the programs that I've mentioned or the individual constituent services. I meet with every single constituent who requests a meeting. I've never turned down a meeting to a member of the 4th District, and I often meet with others who don't live in the district. I read every email, and I am open to communication in any and every form that a constituent has, and I will help you to accomplish what you need to accomplish as your supervisor. Please return me to the Board of Supervisors, because I'd like to continue this work.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming out. League of Women Voters, thank you so much. I don't come from the political world. I'm like an everyday citizen, just like the people here in the audience. And I heard Greta Thunberg talking at the United Kingdom Parliament, and she said, "What have you adults been doing? Like, our world is in ruin, and you're sitting there like everything's okay. Adults, like, do something about this." And that was the moment that I was like, okay, like, let's do something about this. And I really think that we need new leadership. We need to bring in the next generation of leaders. And, you know, people that we want to address the root issues, and we want to bring that youth voice forward. And our campaign has a detailed vision for how we can address these issues, not only the climate issue, but the root causes that are leading to all these other issues. So I really invite you to check out our website and to click into each area and to compare and contrast our various plans for how we're going to deal with the greatest issues of our time. And thank you.
Thank you. Linda, closing statement?
Well, of course, thank you all for coming out and to the League of Conservation Voters, I always do that, League of Women Voters, and to Civ Energy. It's been an honor. It's been an honor to walk our streets. It's been an honor to talk to each and every one of you. I think most of you here in this room have spoken with us at one point or another. And thank you. Thank you for your engagement and wanting to be involved in what's going forward here in our county. Yeah, I think it's time for a change. I do, obviously. That's why I'm sitting here. I think it's time we have representation that reflects our county. I think it's time we have representation that reflects where we are at on criminal justice reform and other issues. That's why I'm running, to be that new voice, to be somebody who can speak up for folks who have not had a voice for years. You will find me, you will see me. I've been working this hard to get your vote at this point. I will be out in the community. You will see another leader in this town and in this district who is going to be your voice on issues here in Yolo County. Obviously, go to lindadeos.com, go check out my platform, go check out where I stand on things. But please know this, I am here for you, and I will be listening to you and continue to listen to you going forward. And I, again, would be honored to have your vote come March 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you all. I deeply appreciate the candidates and the time you've taken today to respond to questions. I'm going to turn this back to Bob to close out our forum.
Can we give Michelle, the moderator, and the candidate? Candidates out in the courtyards if you have any specific questions or want to interact with them after the forum. Thank you very much.